Trump inviting congressional leaders to the White House today to make a deal on immigration.
It's not just about the wall. It's about a legal immigration system versus open borders.
The caravan kicks off 2019 by storming the southern border once again.
Incoming Senator Mitt Romney hasn't even taken office yet, but took shots at the president.
This guy's a disgrace. He's a big, phony, fraud, fake.
We'll move forward. Not by building a wall, but by building new bridges.
He said that these actions will help keep immigrant families together. Well, building a wall will help keep American families together by preventing illegal aliens from killing.
Kanye West appears to be back on the Trump train, ringing in the new year with a politically charged tweet, simply writing, "Trump all day."
The White House later today. Live from New York City, it is the first day after the 1st of January. So it's January 2nd, but it feels like a Monday, but it's actually a Wednesday.
But it's a Wednesday, so it's a shorter work week. Everyone's in a good mood because everyone's been gone for like a week, and you got, you know, refreshed, you got some sleep, no alarm clocks.
Right.
Now we're all back.
I felt pretty good because I got rid of my tree right away. I said, listen, I'm not sure if I pick it up today or tomorrow. So we stripped it and put it out.
See, I need to do that.
Right.
I was going to do it last night, just ran out of time.
Right. Turn the page, ready for 2019. All right. A little bit earlier, we asked you for New Year's Eve pictures. For me, that message got to me at 4:30 in the morning. Okay. So in my effort to wake my family, I've gotten that picture. That emerged in my brother's family going out to the beach in Florida. And that was prior to New Year's Eve. And actually, New Year's Eve, we were, that is not it. Okay, that is Steve. A couple hundred miles south of where the Kilmeades were standing, the Duceys were toasting the new year. And Peter Ducey got a great big hat for Christmas.
I saw that. Very cute. Y'all look like you're having a lot of fun. Both of y'all were on the beach.
We were.
How nice.
Yeah, I have a New Year's Eve picture not on the beach.
Okay, there's Hayden in my lap, and I was with my one of my really good friends, Lori Costantino, and that's her right there, and there's her son in the green, and that's her husband, and his mom is next to her, and she's the best chef. She's Italian. She cooked so much food for us. We had a blast. Just a bunch of friends. All the kids were invited. Casual night at Laurie's house up in Connecticut, and we had a great time.
We'd love to see more of your pictures. Email them, friends@foxnews.com. And we're going to show some in the balance of the last hour. In the meantime, let's talk about what's going to happen today. As I mentioned a moment ago, Chuck and Nancy and other top Democrats have been invited to the White House. The president invited all the congressional leaders over for a Department of Homeland Security border security briefing. And of course, it's going to, if they show up, it's going to center around, are you going to give me the money? And they're going to, that would be the president saying that, and they're going to say, absolutely not. Let's talk about something else, because they've made it very clear where each side stands, and they are super dug in.
President said, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
President just said he wants to negotiate. He's even said, call it whatever you want, call it a fence. I want to negotiate. This is what he tweeted out. He said border security and the wall thing and shutdown is not where Nancy Pelosi wanted to start her tenure as Speaker. Let's make a deal.
It's about them. It's not about us. Most people in this country think we need border security, and they understand that we need the slats and the steel slats, because that is the president giving in. He said, I want a steel wall. He goes down to the border, starts talking to people, sees the different states and the different needs, says, I get it. You need to be able to see through, but we need it lower, we need it higher. I get it. I've changed. I've amended my view from what I ran on. A steel wall does not work everywhere in 2,000-mile border. But the Democrats don't see it like that. They say suddenly a barrier that most of them voted for is ineffective and is medieval. We know it's not medieval. It's working constantly. It probably works in your neighborhood, it works in your house, and it works for other countries. But suddenly Democrats are pretending as if it will not work here, and they just don't want to give in. Nobody's worse. No one's worse off than the American people in this whole battle, because it's a battle about personal animosity. It's not a battle about us.
Well, and Brian and Steve, you have the Democrats that keep saying, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer keep saying, we have given the president 2 different plans, and he is not agreeing to both of those plans. We've done our part. We've negotiated, they say. But the president says it's not at all what I asked for. It's not a negotiation. She's saying she wants to fund all federal agencies through September. That's one of the spending bills, funding bills. The other one is to fund the Department of Homeland Security at current levels through February 8th. And the current level is $1.3 billion in border security. That's why they keep saying 1.3.
It's not even a wall. It's not even for a barrier. It's for border security in general.
Fencing, technology, drones.
And 1.3 is not wall money, and that's why Sarah Sanders put this out. The Pelosi plan is a non-starter because it does not fund our homeland security or keep American families safe from human trafficking, drugs, and crime. And people at the White House, we saw from one of our producers, Matt Leach, apparently it is unclear whether or not the Democrats are even going to show up at this meeting. And you got to wonder why, because if they don't show up, does that mean they don't want a deal? Obviously, they don't want to negotiate on the eve of Nancy Pelosi becoming Speaker. She doesn't want to be seen as caving to the Republican president and giving him any money for that wall, which, as we have heard from a number of Democrats over the last week, it's not just ineffective and it's not just expensive, but now they say it is immoral.
You bring up a good point. The president has extended an invitation to come to the White House to talk about it, whether or not they'll show up.
Right, because he has been, and he's made it very clear. How many tweets did we see him say, essentially, I'm holed up at the White House trying to open up the government, and Nancy Pelosi, as we learned from news reports, was off on a Hawaiian vacation.
All right, so they're going to pass the House with one of their bills. It's going to get to the Senate. It's not going to pass. And they're going to go, that's your problem, Republicans, because you voted that in the past. To be honest, Republicans didn't do a good job prior to them passing the 5-point-something billion late last week before he left on break. Now, all of a sudden, they woke up to the fact the president wasn't giving in. They should have woke up to that fact a year ago when the president said, I'll never sign any bill like that. Coming up at about 8:30, 24 minutes, Newt Gingrich will be here. He's been through a lot of tough negotiations in partisan battles. He could maybe give us an idea how this one could work its way out.
Well, and one of the reasons that the president is pushing for this is because he talks to these parents that have lost a child because an illegal immigrant is here and drunk driving accidents or what have you. And if you look at the video of what happened on New Year's Eve at about 2 o'clock in the morning, you had this mob of about 150 migrants that were
yesterday on Ellis Island, where, as you know, historically millions of immigrants came into this country legally. All right. And of course, President Trump is all about legal immigration policies. And yet that is what Andrew Cuomo took a shot at yesterday.
New York will move forward, not by building a wall, my friends, but by building new bridges. Let New York say that the federal government may shut itself down, but it will never extinguish the Statue of Liberty's torch. It will never erase the words of her poem. They will never close our harbor. They will never close our hearts. They will never close this hall of dreamers.
Right, he's at Ellis
Island. President.
Yeah, he sounds like it. Right. Yeah, the big difference is he's referring to Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island. That's what legal immigrants who are coming here to sign in and see if they could get in. They were doing it the legal way, so his whole analogy is wrong because nobody is anti-immigrant that I know of. They're anti-illegal immigrants, so the whole question is without sincerity. Andrew Cuomo says, I'm not running for president, I swear, but he's going to make this the most progressive state in the union. Fantastic.
He also granted clemency to 29 people, including 22 immigrants who were facing deportation because of drug convictions. 7 others that he pardoned, 4 convicted murderers, and 3 others who had been convicted of armed robbery. He says they are rehabilitated and they can be free.
And he said, quote, these actions will help keep immigrant families together. We interviewed an angel mom, and she said she wants the wall. She wants the president to get the funding, and she said she wants to keep American families together because she lost her son.
They got to do comprehensive. There's got to be a quicker way to become citizens in this country, a quicker way to expedite the green card process, quicker way to have working visas. It's all needed. They can fix it, but everyone's too dug in and running for president or re-election to get something done.
Right.
It's unbelievable what's happening.
There was unified government for the last 2 years with Republicans in charge of the House and the Senate and the White House. They couldn't do anything then.
Right.
Now, starting tomorrow, we're going to see divided government. Nothing's going to happen.
The president should never have walked away from that $25 billion for the wall in exchange for DACA. I think that's a deal you take in a hot second right now.
Well, he made it very clear he had the 4 pillars. He also wanted chain migration and some other things, and Chuck Schumer said no, and that's why we're here today.
Right. We got no pillars.
All right, let's hand it over to Jillian, who has some more headlines for us. Hey, Jillian.
That's right. Good morning. And we
Good morning.
continue to follow this news we brought you in the last hour. This Fox News alert, Washington Governor Jay Inslee is running for president. That's according to The Atlantic. The Democrat is jumping into what is expected to be a crowded field. Inslee is a frequent Trump critic and will focus his platform on climate change. He served more than 10 years in Congress before being elected governor in 2012. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo demanding access to an American accused of spying in Russia.
We've made clear to the Russians our expectation, and if the detention is not appropriate, we will demand his immediate return.
Paul Whelan, a retired Marine charged in Russia for espionage. His twin brother joined us earlier saying he is innocent.
I'm sure my brother's not a spy. I just can't imagine him getting sideways of the law in Russia or doing anything anywhere close to breaking an espionage act.
Whelan was in Moscow for a wedding when he was taken into custody. An athletic referee turns into an internet star at the Rose Bowl. Look at this. Watch as he jumps into action, yanking a stray balloon floating over the field. People on Twitter praising him for his very quick and fine moves. The Ohio State Buckeyes were the real winners of the game, beating the Washington Huskies 28-23. And before the Sugar Bowl, the Texas Longhorns' 1,800-pound mascot Bevo charging Georgia's Bulldog Uga after breaking out of its pen. Nobody was hurt, though, but that's a bit of a scary situation.
No kidding.
Yes.
Holy
Large,
cow.
small animal.
Literally.
Right. Yes.
All right.
What about the bulldog instincts? It shows it's raised in the wild. It knew to run from a bigger animal.
You think that dog was raised in the wild?
Bulldogs, you find them all across the prairie. And they know who
I'm from the prairie.
You've never seen a bulldog?
No.
You got to really look. They're short.
You're thinking of coyotes, maybe?
Okay, maybe that was it.
I love a bulldog. Aren't they adorable? And pugs
Right.
have some breathing problems, though. They
Right.
snore at night.
They snore because they have no noses. It's just
No,
smash.
They have noses.
They have noses,
Right?
Brian.
Just
They do.
nostrils. They're big nostrils, no nose.
We should shift gears. We just told you about the chaos at the border. What will Congressman-elect and former Navy SEAL Dan Crenshaw do to get tougher border security when he takes office? We're going to talk to him next.
Plus, listen to this. A woman was pulled from a car that was sinking down in the mud with just seconds to save her life.
This is our contract.
Today, President Trump inviting leaders from both parties for an 11th hour border briefing. This as a violent mob of migrants kick off 2019 by storming the southern border once again.
What needs to happen to fix the crisis at the border, I ask? Former Navy SEAL and Texas Congressman-elect Dan Crenshaw officially takes office this week and joins us. Dan, help us out. You're in a border state. Is a wall medieval or is a wall effective?
A wall is effective. It's a crucial part of any kind of border security. I spent a whole career infiltrating places, and when we come up upon a wall, it matters. We have to plan around it. It's a mitigating factor if you're trying to enter or cross from point A to point B. So, that typical argument we hear from Democrats that it doesn't make sense, it's too expensive, it's medieval. I'd like to hear some reasoning behind that. It's not too expensive. It's 0.1% of our entire federal budget. 0.1% is what we're talking about. That's what $5 billion ends up being. So it's really not about the money for them. And we also know that the president and Mike Pence, they offered about $2.5 billion as well. So they're trying to meet halfway. Democrats are refusing to budge on this. For them, it's about semantics. They hate the word wall. they just hate it, right? And for some reason, they don't value this idea of border security. They don't value the sanctity of our borders, and that's really problematic, especially for a border state like Texas. We're on the front lines down there.
President tweeted out, let's make a deal. He's invited both sides to come into the White House. He wants to negotiate. Do you think Democrats will budge at all? What do you anticipate the future is going to look like?
It's hard to say at this point, honestly. Again, I don't know what their reasoning is. I hope they do. You know, we've showed some willingness to negotiate on this. But again, we always have to question, like, what is the underlying reason here? I think what they really want to do is score points against the president. He made a campaign promise, and they want to score points against him by destroying that campaign promise. But it's at the expense of our security. I mean, we saw this migrant caravan coming in last night. You know what stopped them? A wall, and that wasn't even a very good wall. So what we're asking for is better border security and actual physical barriers, because once somebody crosses that border, well, and this is about 400,000 people a year being apprehended. 400,000, that's not a low number. So that many people is inundating our education system, our healthcare system, our law enforcement, our courts. Our Border Patrol can't handle that many people. You need some kind of physical barrier in certain areas.
Dan, you sure you want to do this? I mean, this is all politics. It's not effective. You're used to getting a mission, getting it done. It's kind of out of your control now. And we've got to have you back because you set out some resolutions that you put out. We want you to expand on it, but unfortunately, the wall has dominated this segment.
Yeah, go to his Twitter page to read his resolutions for the new year. They're pretty funny. Thank you so much, Dan, for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
God bless you. Thanks for serving our country. Former Navy SEAL.
Right.
And now Congressman-elect.
All right. Meanwhile, straight ahead, the Trump administration is cracking down on food stamps by increasing work requirements. The media claims this is punishing the poor. But our next guest says it's something all Americans should want. You intrigued? I hope so. We're out of time.
It's time for our lowest prices of the season on the new Sleep Number 360 smart bed. It senses your movement and automatically adjusts to keep you both comfortable. It's the final days of the lowest prices of the season. The Queen Sleep Number 360 C4 smart bed is only $12.99. And Sunday.
Hi, I'm going to read you some quick headlines. Hopefully there'll be different stories. Utah now has the strictest DUI law in the country, but no one's been arrested yet. This week, the state officially lowered the legal drinking limit, the blood alcohol content, to 0.5. Did I read that right? 0.5. Yeah, it's 0.05. The previous limit was 0.08. And gender-neutral birth certificates are now available in New York City. Instead of choosing male and female, people can now choose the gender to X. Parents can also choose X for their newborn babies. I'm talking about California, Oregon, and Washington. You can do this. Also, the gender-neutral option on birth certificates. That's great. Meanwhile, now to you two.
All right. Thank you, one man. President Trump making moves to overhaul the nation's food stamp program by tightening work requirements for recipients.
Millions of able-bodied working-age adults continue to collect food stamps without working or even looking for work. Our goal is to move these Americans from dependence to independence and into a good-paying job and rewarding career.
But some critics in the media say this is punishing the poor, making it harder for the poorest Americans to buy food, and even saying Trump's white male supporters may lose their food stamps. Here to weigh in is founder and president of the Center for Urban Renewal and Education, our friend Star Parker. Star, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
So what is the administration doing by cracking down on the number of people who get these SNAP cards?
They're opening up all of the excitement of what is happening in our economy to those that are on the lower end. What we're asking for are for able-bodied, no dependents to participate. This is a great economy. I know it's in vogue for everyone to hate the president, but he's doing some amazing things for the poor. And this is one of those things to say, hey, we're going to give you a little nudge. We're going to give you a little help. Let's open up the economy in your own life so that you can prosper.
What are the changes exactly?
Well, the changes are that since Congress didn't have the backbone to put in work requirements into the Farm Bill, the president is now using the Agricultural Department to say, why shouldn't we allow for states to put these opportunities in place for those that are receiving food stamps. What's happening right now is the states are asking for waivers so that those that are not participating or just getting food stamps, are not working, the states are opting out of what should be occurring here in America. So what the Trump administration is saying is, no, let's have them participate, states. Let's stop. The economy is good in your states. Let's stop pretending that we don't have a problem with people that are just not participating. The crisis is not the poor. Let me make this point. The crisis is not the poor. The crisis here are able-bodied, non-working, mostly males, because they're disconnected from family, and we're rewarding this behavior. So the Trump administration is trying to correct that so that everybody participates.
So they're saying if you're able to work, we'll give you food stamps or a SNAP program for 3 months, then you have to go get a job, right?
Well, you could say it like that. Yes, you may already be on the food stamp program, but you have 3 months to go out and try to participate in the workforce. It's not that work is not available in these various states.
Star, explain the dynamic. During the Obama years, the number of people on this kind of assistance was substantially higher than it is now, I am given to believe. Why have so many people... why are so many people no longer on the program?
Because the economy is doing well. Remember now, what happened with the SNAP program, if you go back even to the Bush administration, prior to President Bush, they were like food stamps. So they had this stigma about them. So people wouldn't want to be on even if they qualify. But now it's like an EBT swipe card. It's a debit card. So they take the shame out of it. The next thing you know, you have an economic crash. And so during the time of Obama, there were many, many more Americans. Remember, most of our safety net programs are for you to get back on your feet. They're not what we've seen lately. Yeah, short term, not generational. And so what the Trump administration is saying is, come on, guys, the economy is doing good. Why are you still sitting around? People here in Washington, in particular, AEI has done extensive study on this to show that what they're calling them now are watchers. These guys are not working. They're watching. They're watching porn. They're watching TV. They're watching women. They're watching everything, but they're not working. And this is what this initiative is attempting to do, is to get them back into their own lives so that they can prosper.
It's not to hurt them. It's to actually make them self-sufficient so that they can contribute to society and help themselves. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Star. We appreciate you being here. Have a happy New Year.
Oh, we will here in Washington, D.C.
Yes, you will.
Speaking of Washington, President Trump tweeted moments ago about Mitt Romney after the incoming senator slammed the president in a new op-ed. Newt Gingrich here with reaction to the president's tweet. Coming up next.
And get ready for a West Wing reboot. Kanye West is jumping back into politics. And he's at 12:56.
About this picture is a year ago that house was burned to the ground. The Raguses hosted New Year's Eve. In 1 year they were able to get that whole house rebuilt.
Oh, that's great.
Mike Raguso, I've known him since 7th, 8th grade, and Debbie. They were able to do that, and they said, we're going to do it. We're going to host a New Year's Eve party, and that's exactly what happened.
How did the house burn down?
It just, one of these things that happened. It caught fire in the garage. Everything was gone. And they redid it. He could do so much himself, as Steve knows, because he can do that too. That helped a lot.
Which one is he the guy on the end that you're next to?
Let me see.
Is that in New York, Brian?
That is in New York. He's right behind the guy in the red. That's Mike.
All right. The guy in the red in the very back.
Yeah, in the very back. He's right behind Joe, who's in the red.
And the girl in front of him looks like Mary Ducey. Was she at that party? The long blonde hair?
That is what I went to college with, but Debbie is his wife right in front, right in the middle.
Okay.
All right. Meanwhile,
God bless them.
In addition, we asked you for your photos.
Look at that.
Here's a picture from Holly. They celebrated New Year's Eve with a onesies-themed party.
Everyone participated except the one on the right.
It's hard to get a onesie at the last minute.
This is Andy and Alex ending the year by saying, I do. Congratulations. Best wishes to you.
That's right. Keep sending your pictures. We post them online. Plus, Newt Gingrich joins us from the Washington, D.C. area. And Newt, where were you on New Year's Eve?
We were in Key Biscayne with our children and grandchildren, and it was terrific, about 80 degrees, and we suffered through being on the ocean like that.
Suffered through.
Oh,
that's a great picture. There's your beautiful wife, Callista.
The ambassador.
Yes, ambassador.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you call her that, or do you?
So she was in a non-ambassadorial role.
I can imagine.
So
So,
it
Newt,
was great fun.
Let's talk a little bit about what is going on. We're going to talk about the shutdown in a moment, but moments ago, the president tweeted this out regarding Mitt Romney. He wrote, "Here we go with Mitt Romney, but so fast." Question is, will he be a flake? I hope not. Would much prefer that Mitt focus on border security, so many other things where he can be helpful. I won big and he didn't. He should be happy for all Republicans and be a team player and win. What he's talking about is there was an op-ed in the Washington Post where Mitt Romney said Donald Trump was not his choice for president, hoped he'd change if he got the nomination. He did not, and that he has not risen to the occasion of being president. What say you about what's going on between these top Republicans?
Well, I mean, first of all, Mitt Romney's a freshman senator, so I'm not sure he's only a top Republican because he was once the nominee and lost. I think 80 or 85% of the party supports Trump. I think I'm not sure what Mitt Romney's trying to accomplish. It's kind of sad, you know, as a freshman, he could have come in, he could have written, as a former governor of Massachusetts, his views on Elizabeth Warren running for office. He could have written about the shutdown and offered an idea such as combining help for the Dreamers with building the wall and securing the border. He could have written about things he knows a great deal about. Why he would pick his very first venture to be an attack on the Republican president, you'd have to ask Romney. I can't figure out what he thought strategically, why he thought that was helpful to him. It makes him, as the president pointed out, it makes him look like he wants to rush into being in the minority of the Republican Party.
Well, what's really happening between those two? Because you have a lot of friends in Washington, and you probably hear things that we don't all necessarily hear. What's happening? Why are they acting? They're eating dinner together.
Well, I mean,
they're shaking hands. And then...
First of all, look, first of all, I competed with Mitt and lost in 2012. I give him a lot of credit. He was a very, very competitive guy. I think Romney has always wanted to be president. I think he'd like to be president now. And stylistically, they're so different that I suspect every morning when Romney gets up, he gets angry just because Trump is so different than he is. But from Romney's own standpoint, I don't understand strategically why you would try to carve out being the anti-Trump before you're even sworn in as a freshman. And I think it's important for Romney, and he'll learn this in the Senate. The Senate doesn't care who you used to be. The senators aren't going to go, oh, yeah, we owe you a lot of extra room because you were once the Republican nominee. He's a freshman senator. He needs to learn how the Senate works. And ideally, because he's a very smart guy, he's going to focus on actually solving problems, not just getting involved in a game with Trump, because he'll just plain lose. I mean, you can't take Trump on inside his own party.
Right.
It's not possible.
So, Newt, another area in your expertise at is somehow healing ideological rifts. You got to somehow come to a deal here. This is a very unique impasse where Republicans were ready to sign something. The president pushed back on it. They reconfigured, rejiggered, and now the Democrats say they have two ideas. The Republicans have a different idea. How does this day 12 of this shutdown showdown end?
Well, look, my advice to Republicans is really simple. Buy ads in every single Spanish language media in the country pointing out that the president and the Republicans are trying to get a deal that includes legality for the Dreamers, and that the Democrats care more about hating Trump than they care about helping 700,000 young people who deserve a chance, who came here as very, very young children. The country overwhelmingly wants to help them. And I think that it would be very hard for even Nancy Pelosi to stand up for very long if the Republicans would be aggressive in pushing this issue. It's a very sound compromise to say, give us security on the southern border, take care of legalizing the Dreamers. It's a win-win proposition. I know Lindsey Graham has been working very hard on it, and I think that somewhere around there you can get to a deal. But if Pelosi wants to prove how tough she is by keeping the government closed for 6 or 8 or 10 weeks, she has the power to do that. And I think it'll be interesting to see whether or not they really live that out. The Democrats are not naturally the party of closing the government because they're naturally the party of government unions.
Right.
And so I think they're very cross-pressured.
Well, we have heard that apparently the president's invitation to the leaders, the meeting will take place in the White House, in the Situation Room, and it sounds as if everybody who goes in has got to surrender their cell phone because that's the Situation Room. And will anything happen? Will the Democrats even show up? We'll know tomorrow. Newt, thank you very much for joining us live today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
But the horror show on our border, it bolsters the president's case through no effort of his own. If you just look what's happening at the border, they know the president is not in the middle of hyperbole. We need action.
Well, maybe that's why they're going to show it from the Situation Room. They could actually dial up the satellites. They could look at the drones. They can look at the video from yesterday, or rather New Year's Eve. Stay tuned.
Or they could just watch Netflix. We're not sure.
They could. Doubt it. Hey, 20 minutes before the top of the hour, Jillian, what's happening?
Hey, Jillian. That's right. Good morning. And a suspected killer, cop killer, and illegal immigrant will face a judge today. Gustavo Perez Arriaga expected to be charged with murder in California. He's accused of shooting Corporal Ranil Singh during a DUI investigation the morning after Christmas. With help from you, the Tunnels to Towers Foundation has raised more than $204,000 for Singh's wife and 5-month-old son. You can donate. Head to foxandfriends.com. Airport water fountains are shut down as passengers get sick on board a Frontier Airlines plane. At least 6 people treated by a medical staff after landing in Tampa, Florida. They were not traveling together. Now, the cause of the sudden illness is unknown, but water fountains at Cleveland Hopkins Airport, where the plane took off, are shut down as a precaution. A Fox Business Alert now. Stock futures are plunging as Wall Street prepares for the first trading day of the year. Investors are concerned about economic weakness in China. Stocks closed higher on Monday after a wild month of trading. 2018.
Right now, I don't think I would have lasted another 30.
Wow.
Jillian, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, 18 minutes before the top of the hour. Does anyone know where Janice Dean is? Janice Dean.
There she is.
She's getting ready for some bull riding.
Number 2, I'm ready to ride that bull by the horns. How are you guys doing? Happy 2019. What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is Marissa Martin, and I am a journalism student that just graduated from Pepperdine University in Malibu. So I came all the way from California to freeze here in New York City.
And you do the weather?
Yes, I've been the weather girl.
Okay, take it away.
All right.
Are you ready? Put
I'm
those
ready.
maps up. Here you go. We have a storm across the southwest. Take it away.
So currently there are rainstorms and a little bit of ice moving across Texas, and it's heading into the south. You can expect some amounts of flooding, and definitely be prepared to carry your umbrella with you at all times, because you never know when this rainstorm is going to be able to start hitting you.
That was fantastic. Was she amazing? That's fantastic. See, you never know what's going to happen on Fox and Friends when you come up to 48th and 6th Avenue. Do you want to ride a bull?
I would love to be able to ride the bull.
Oh my God, you'll be my stunt double.
No guarantee that I'm going to stay on the bull, but I'm more than happy to be able to try it.
All right. Fantastic. Take it away.
A graduate from
she's so
Pepperdine.
good.
Very nice.
She's so cute. I was out there earlier and we got to meet her. She was so nice.
They say Pepperdine is one of the
love that school.
most magnificent campuses in the country.
It's where my wife went to college.
Really? So does she back me up on that?
100%.
Okay.
I remember when I wanted to go there so badly, and they only accepted, I think, if I remember correctly, ACT scores instead of SAT.
My wife's a genius.
I had to take the ACT and have it
say
sent
more.
there.
All
But
right.
it was too far away. Mom and Dad said no.
There you go. Meanwhile, they say there's no crying over spilled milk. But what happens when a donut truck catches fire? The police photo is now going viral. How Krispy Kreme is coming to the rescue in a very sweet way.
Plus, we are learning how to ride a bull from someone who knows a thing or two about it. The PBR Rookie of the Year, Keyshawn Whitehorse, is live on the Fox Square.
Welcome back. Hope you're having a good morning so far. Some quick headlines now. Forget the New Year's diet because Oreo is debuting a brand new flavor today. The dark chocolate Oreo has chocolate cream in between 2 chocolate cookies. Oreo says this will be a permanent offering, not just for a limited time. So I guess you could do your diet and get that a little later. Maybe you'd rather make something for yourself. United Airlines wants to help. It's launching a new Polaris cookbook. It features recipes from in-flight menus for business class customers, because plain food is always the best. Steve?
When you just can't get enough of it. All right, thank you very much. Months after saying he was taking a break, Kanye West making a New Year's resolution to get back into politics. The rapper posting a series of tweets on New Year's Day, starting with, quote, Trump all day.
So I guess he's in here with Reaction. Lighting up social media is the woman that lights up our show. She's from Fox News Headlines 24/7. We paid a quick rental fee. We borrow you.
You sure did.
And can you talk about Kanye? Because I thought he was out of politics.
Yeah.
And now he's back in. I'm confused.
Yeah, a couple months ago, he said that he would be distancing himself from politics. But new year, new start, I guess, because he said that he's back on the Trump train in that tweet that you just read. And then he went on to explain specifically why he likes the Trump hat. He says, one of my favorite of many things about what the Trump hat represents to me is that people can't tell me what to do because I'm black. This kind of echoes things that he's said before about freedom of thought and all that. So I guess he's back into President Trump and the Republican Party, and he may be running for president again because he said 2024 in one of the tweets. I want to get to some reaction to this because this is one of the top stories that's trending on social media. Anita on Facebook says, I appreciate Kanye's opinion that is entirely out of the entertainment norm. Kanye chooses to have his own voice and risk being ridiculed and harassed, much like those of us who support our current administration. And Clinton on Facebook, I don't think Hillary would be this person's first name, says, never have been a Kanye fan, just not my taste in music, but do I support Kanye for taking a stand, saying, I think for myself and I choose what to believe in and not someone telling me what to do.
And I think one of the things he said was, if 90% of the black community votes for one party, how is that freedom?
That's right. That is what he said.
All right. From Kanye to Krispy Kreme, there was some sort of a trucking accident where a Krispy Kreme truck in the background caught on fire. Those police officers from Lexington Police posted it on social media, pretending they were all verklempt over it.
That's right.
And the reaction is lighting up.
Look at that caption. They're mourning the loss of that Krispy Kreme truck with the caption, no words. A couple other police departments across the state and really around the country responded saying, we do not know what to say to you. We mourn your loss. Krispy Kreme, though, responded saying, we're thinking of you during this difficult time and have more donuts on the way. So they are delivering donuts to the Lexington Police Department today.
Congratulations.
Isn't that cute?
Not to miss a great moment for PR and some marketing.
That's right. But man, that donut truck got scorched.
Okay. Great job, New Year's Eve.
Thank you so much. I had so much fun. It was great, despite the weather.
Right. And Grit's jacket.
Yes.
All right. Next up on Fox and Friends, it's time to grab the bull by the horns. We're riding a mechanical bull. Somebody is. Next up on. Oh, you aren't. Toughest Sport on Dirt is heading to New York City this weekend, and we are taking the bull by the horns. 2018 Professional Bull Rider Rookie of the Year, Keyshawn Whitehorse, is here to coach Brian Mason from the sidelines.
And Todd.
All right. So this weekend is the Super Bowl bull riding in Madison Square Garden. Right?
Yes, sir. We're coming in here to the Big Apple and ready to ride.
Are you excited?
Oh, very excited.
What do you see when you see a show? What do we see?
What do you see?
People have never seen it before.
You're going to see a lot of action. I mean, there's fireworks, there's flames. There's going to be the best bulls, the best riders, good rides, maybe some wrecks. So
That's all we see, like the training that goes into this.
you see a lot of, working out, weightlifting, yoga, stretching, everything.
You know what you see? You see a lot of professionals. You don't see this. Brian, get on the horse.
Come on, Brian.
Should we go
Are you gonna give us some tips?
I can.
Ainsley, go first.
Wait a minute. I think you should go, and then we'll keep talking, and then if we run out of time, I will have to.
Okay, so far so good.
Good job, Brian. Go.
Okay, Brian.
Come on. Be careful. Go.
There you go.
Okay. In a suit.
All right, I'm ready.
All right. And action.
Okay.
There you go.
So, Keyshawn, how many seconds do you have to hold on?
You got to hold on for 8 seconds.
Okay.
Two-handed now.
He's using two hands on the board.
Listen,
Typically, yeah, you have to have one hand, just like that.
Okay, Ainsley, you're
Okay, here we go.
That's why I don't get on. All right. And
Look at the hands on that. That was awesome.
okay, guys, let it rip.
Woo! Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is hard. This is a little handle.
Oh, yeah. Those hands are super slippery.
I know, they are
Keyshawn, how close is this to an actual bull?
The level of difficulty just isn't as much as an actual bull, but these guys are doing a great job.
I don't want to get in your way, Mr. Ducey. All right, here we go.
Woo! Come on, Todd. 2019 until
It's going to regret that. And action.
Stay there in the middle.
Okay, who
Hey,
won?
I did it. If you'd like more information, go to PBR.com.
All right, Steve, your turn.
Yeah,